Yeah, so
We're gonna be live already,
Yeah.
so. Don't know why the screen's blank though. Here we go.
yeah. Anyway, what did you do?
There we go. Like we're looking like fools right there.
Oh.
Hi
Hello.
guys.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome back.
My name is Greg.
Not again. My name is Marco.
No, I'm just kidding, man.
We're
No.
here on the Herp Dirt podcast.
No. Welcome back to another episode of Thought Process. We've been away due to the holidays, due to us being sick, but we're happy to be back. I'm feeling much better. What about you, Greg? I know you were sick all last week, so.
I thought I was gonna get bad last night again because I was talking to someone at the bar where I work, and I started talking to him, and I had a turn and cough, and I just felt like all the phlegm inside my throat. And this morning I woke up and there's nothing there.
So you're back to 100%.
Yeah, I should be.
Well,
but I did. This is the weirdest thing, dude. I hit a day of deep depression, and I felt it. I was like, this is depression, and it was over a dream.
huh?
I had a dream because my son went with his mom to Nevada again, and I went to sleep. It was a dream. It was like in the apocalypse, and the zombies were here, and my son got bit by a zombie on his neck. And essentially I had to say goodbye to him before he turned into a zombie. And I said, "You're awesome" to him, because we always say that back and forth. And then the dream cut out. So I never actually saw him turn into a zombie. And so that moment just stuck with me. That moment of it's over. And I was done for the next 2-3 days. I was just no. I wanted nothing to do with anything.
So, okay. Within the next few days, did you see your son?
After those 3 days. Yeah.
After the 3 days.
Yeah.
And so, meanwhile, you were feeling all this. You didn't see him at all.
No.
Damn. Okay.
That's why it was like that. But
You
and
know-
I think thinking back on it is because he went on a trip. I didn't know what was going on, and something could have happened.
So you
It
think
was
you were
that
just kind
Sixth
of
Sense kind of concept.
you think that you were just a little lack of a better word, just kind of fearful,
I
scared.
guess.
Yeah. Well, glad you're back, man. Glad you're not feeling that way anymore.
Right.
And well, let's get the show
Let's
going.
go.
So, we were just actually talking about how this past year, 2019, we were able to do 27 episodes with about 6 months of time. And, this year we're definitely aiming to get to 100 episodes. So hopefully we can make that happen. So I would like to take the opportunity to thank all of you guys for basically sticking with us, the 5 followers that we got.
11 subscribers.
Wow, see, we grew. We're at 11 subscribers. So thank you. Hope that you guys are enjoying the podcast as much as we're enjoying doing the podcast. In fact, at the last episode, this year I want to carry in the tradition of what we started late last year, of reading a haiku at the beginning of every episode. So here we go. This one says, "I dreamed of battles and was slain. O savage samurai, insatiable fleas." By Kikaku.
That's literally what. That was the end, right?
Yeah.
That's literally what I was just talking about with the dream. He dreams of battles. He dreams of the outcome.
Yeah.
And then he's like, damn. Even though it never happened.
That's right.
Overthinking.
Yeah, man. I think 2019 was a very common theme for me. was overthinking. Um, this year, I've committed that to myself, and kind of like my New Year's resolution would be um, finish something that I start, as I've never really finished anything in grand scale before. You know, I always tried things. I've never been scared of trying new things, and that's kind of like my personality. I like to be more adventurous, but I've never really finished everything that I tried. You know, so last year, what did I do last year? We started playing soccer. You know, we played. I got the shirt. We got cleats. We went out there. Maybe 3 4 months. I was playing in a team. I didn't play anymore. We just quit. I was working out again, and then I quit again. Like I stopped going. Right. Um, well, I started the business, but you know, I mean, even though it's a work in progress, there's a lot of things I could have finished that last year that I didn't. So, moving forward, 2020 is a new year. So I hope that I get to finish many projects this year that I've started last year, and hopefully finish projects that I will start in the future. You know, beginning this year. So it's kind of like where I'm at right now. What about you?
Well, starting back in the business that I was in before, I feel like I don't know. I feel like it's a step back, but something that I'm seeing is that there's something coming around the corner where I think I'm going to finally have that time in the life where I am by myself and I don't have any other choice but to figure something out. Like figure everything out. Like I'll have time to make my own decisions. Where like you right now you live with your wife.
Yeah.
Before that you lived with your mom. Before that you lived with your mom and your brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I don't know if you have even been able to have this experience where like you won't have the influence of anyone else to be like this is what you need to do. Like when something big comes up, you go to your friends, you go to your family and be like, "Hey, what do I do here?" And they just do whatever they say. Or if they don't help you that much, they've at least said a couple things. But now it's going to be more like you got to come up with something.
Yeah,
Out of the blue,
it's
like
funny.
there's no choice.
It's funny that you say that, man, because I think that was something that I learned early this year, the first few days, and I think that most of what I was experiencing last year was exactly just that. So I reached that point last year where things were happening. You know, I was getting married. Um, I was doing things. You know, we got this place. Um, you know, basically the responsibility came, and I wasn't prepared mentally for it, and so I feel like all the emotions, the anxiety, all that stuff that came to me last year was all because of that. You know, it was you basically. It's funny because as old as we are, you know, being 30 years old, we feel like we're still kids, and I'm speaking just for myself here, but I don't know if you can relate to that. Like you just mentioned, you've never felt that you've had that sole responsibility before, as whereas you know that going into this year, there's no that's basically inevitable for you. Yeah. And so basically, the way I see things now is, well, you know, we're here, whether we like it or not. We're older, we're getting older. Time doesn't wait for anyone. We have to figure something out, and you know, there's nothing to it but to do it, and we just have to roll with the punches, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like how am I gonna tie this in? It would have worked earlier in the conversation, but like one of the things that I actually learned through like my breakup with my ex, actually, every day I see my son, I actually think about it. I think my relationship with my son is better and will be better than if I was with her.
100%.
But not because of any of the relationship between me and his mom, but
Yeah.
because of the reliance on the relationship between him and I now. So like there's
It's on
no
you.
secondary person who takes care. So there like before, like if I was tired or something, you could be like, go ask your mom.
Right.
Now you don't have the option, so you learn to control like your upsetness. Like you get mad and then you correct yourself and you change it.
Yeah,
In a
it's
previous like in a relationship, it's easier to let a lot of things go. And so I've actually thought about it that's one blessing that came out of it in a sense.
yeah.
Is that I feel like I have a better relationship with him.
Also, it's teaching you the life skill that you need. You know, having a kid, when you have a kid, um, well, it depends who you are, but most people, there's no going back. You can't, you're responsible for someone's life now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to do things that, no matter whether you want to do them or not, you have to do things to give them a good life, to teach them. It's hard to, you have to potty train them. There's a lot of restless nights, I'm sure. It just changes your life. And by the way, I just want to give a quick shout out to my friend Chris Ayala. He finally had his baby. So welcome to this world, Easton.
I saw that I saw a thing that they were taking pictures.
Yeah.
I thought they just put the baby on a blanket that was just hanging in the air. I was like, oh, what the hell? That baby's gonna drop. But it was on a table.
It was on a table.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Congratulations, Chris and Crystal. Very happy. Haven't given you a call because I didn't want to overwhelm you the first couple of weeks. Kind of want you to come back from the experience, and when we're on the call, I want you to tell me exactly how you feel. So maybe I'll give you a call later today if you're listening. But anyway, so having said that, how do you feel that your life, like where are you at now in your life? You're 30 years old. You just came back to work for the previous company. You have this grand responsibility to take care of your kid and to give him a good life. Where do you see yourself? Like where are you right now?
Right now, where I see myself, I don't see myself anywhere. I have a better understanding of knowing that there needs to be something more. So I guess learning from the job rather than thinking the job is the provider. So like going in this time, I didn't just view it as, hey, I need to do the work. It's, hey, I need to try things, see if it works, try something new, see if it works, and use it as a test ground, essentially. And learn the skills rather than just learn how to do something. So like, for example, a lot of bartenders just learn how to make a drink. Like, why is the stuff in the drink? Like in an old fashioned, there's bitters and there's the orange twist, and you don't shake it. You can make it in the glass or you stir it. Why do they use the big piece of ice? Like all those things. Why people do things and how people make drinks that people actually enjoy. Like going more in depth with those kind of things, understanding why things are done this way or why things are made this way or what the ingredients are rather than just going in and learning the job.
And that's important that you say that because I feel like that's something that you can apply to everything.
Because yeah, before it was more or less just know what we have, know how it's made, and that's it. And then just.
But now it's about understanding why. Yeah. And see.
So I can use that to move forward with other things. So like even where I'm at now, like it's okay money. It's fine. I'm making about what everyone else is making, but all those people are going to be staying in a spot. So even let's say even if I stay there, I still have the mindset to improve the place, which means that if I can improve the place and get others to improve it, it will then improve, which improves my situation. So, with that, like when I went into for a job interview at the place that Sergio was working, they were asking me questions like, "Oh, why would you want to take this job? It's a stepping down." And I told them straight out, I was like, because like where I was, I didn't really learn anything. I learned that place. That's it. Like they asked me if I knew the differences in wines. It's like no, like I don't know why we have things. We just have them, and that's what the restaurant's at, and that's what I want to improve.
And you made it work.
Yeah.
Right. So with now, what you had.
Yeah. So now I want to know why we have this beer on tap. I want to know why we don't put butter on our turkey when we cook it. Like, I want to know why the ribs are only smoked for 4 hours instead of 8 hours. Like, all those things. Because if it's very simple things that, like, I could come in and change, like, say you change the ribs from cooking from a 6-hour cook to an 8-hour cook at a lower temperature, they come out moist and they come out better, that right there, that instantly changes your restaurant. So, like, I don't think anyone in that place has done that in a long time, and that's why it's just stalemate. And so things like that, because if I feel like I can turn around a place, understand why the gross profit works this way, understand why they need to know these numbers, not like just input this, like understanding why it's done this way, how it's done this way, how I can make it. Because then it's more or less training me for something later on. So essentially I'm training myself for something later. Yeah.
Oh, that's great, man. And see, what happens with people is that they become very complacent. And, you know, they have, the way I see that restaurant, it's that they have a good concept. They have good potential, like the way you see it. But they don't have the right person who has the right mindset for. They don't. What places like that need, and you know, businesses in general, you need someone who's a visionary.
They just don't have the right people every day.
Yeah,
it's like if you go into a restaurant, you can have the greatest experience one day and go back the next day, and the same people aren't working, and it's just not as good. And that's the issue with a lot of restaurants is that. You're going to have your good people, you're going to have your bad people. And you go on the wrong day, and then your experience is ruined, and you ruin it for the good people. So.
It's like plugging holes in a sinking ship.
Yeah. It's like the difference between me going in and painting this room and your brothers coming in and painting the room. Like, they got 2 walls done in, like, the time we did, like, 1.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of concept. Like, but I mean, sure, they did mess up a lot of things, but...
Yeah. Damn, we're talking about phlegm, dude.
See, that's what I heard. And I was like, oh, because I didn't have that at all the whole time.
You're scaring Sierra here. By the way, I'm actually getting myself more responsibility this year. And one of them is sitting right here. We decided to adopt a dog. She comes straight from TJ. She's was found somewhere in the mountains, dude. And well, here she is. Look at her. She's already like warmed up and whatever. She doesn't. If she wants to sleep, she'll literally just wait until I pick her up, so she can sleep. So
she's probably cold. Is what it probably is.
Yeah.
You said there was a hair issue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just throw a blanket on top of her when she's on the couch and she'll fall asleep.
Yeah, I mean, you had a dog, right?
Yeah, that dog was so easy. Like the only thing I remember the first day we got her, we were gonna go to 2 places. We went to the pound and we looked around, and then my friend had a beagle at the time, and I kind of liked the beagles, so we went to this place and they had a bunch of beagles, and we looked at the beagles and. I didn't like the house because they had so many dogs. It just like stunk. and I just wanted to get out of there. So that's the reason I didn't get a beagle. I chose the other dog. I was like, let's just go back and get the other one. And
because it was yeah.
And it was more like I would have had a beagle instead of her, but it was just me being a kid, not wanting to be in a place. I wanted to leave, so we got Bailey.
It's funny that you understand that now.
It was good because Bailey was a good dog, because we went back to the pound and we got her, and when we went home, we had one of those cages for when she slept at night, just to make sure she wasn't crawling around or anything like that. And I remember the next day waking up, I went and took a shower, and she was still in the cage, like sleeping, because I always woke up early, and I took my towel off, and I was like, like the dog's looking at my peeps, and I was always so scared too, like getting out when the dog was running around the house, and I was in the towel because I thought she was gonna try to
just grab the towel,
eat my wiener, because we would feed her little smoky hot dogs. Or not hot dogs, the little smoky sausages. And so I thought she was going to bite on my dick.
Oh, man.
I know, she was very cuddly, but she was always excited when people came over.
Yeah. I had 2 dogs early in my childhood. I had, they were mixed. Who knows what kind of dogs they were. But they loved chasing herds of cow. They like to swim. They got into so much trouble, man. They bit 2 of the guys who came and dropped off water, like the Sparkletts water. Mm-hmm. They freaking jumped on his back and bit him. So I've always liked pets. But when you get into school, you don't really think about them anymore. And then we grew up with like this technological revolution. We had we started with the games, then we had the internet, and then next thing you're hanging out, then you don't really give yourself time for dogs.
It's the lack of pets. The physical love, I think. Like people have, I don't know how to. I feel like people want more of a sexual love now than a physical love. Like,
what do you mean? Isn't that the same thing?
Sexual is a physical, but more or less like a friend. Like, you shake their hand, you give them a hug, like you hang out with them. Like everything now just seems more or less like if you do have a friend, it's all about like the wingman or the wing girl, or like going out and hooking up with someone like once a month. Like there's no long-term relationships even in the friends section. Like everyone just uses people in general, it seems like.
You think so?
And that's what dogs are. Dogs are just like they like to be loved.
They're just French. Yeah, they're just friendship, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's why like the dog always wants to just be chilling right there, because it's still a baby essentially. So it wants the cuddle.
Yeah.
Wants the knit.
Yeah.
Have you seen those? They have them for dogs where you strap on and you like.
What?
Like, dude. There's man bras. You've never heard of those?
No.
Yeah, dude. You put the mom's milk in there and the man feeds.
God.
Yeah, and like they do that because a lot of people want the baby to breastfeed, but sometimes like say the mom has a C-section or something, and the mom just can't do it. The dad will do it at the start.
That's hilarious. Man, that's still maybe a couple years away from me. That's why I got her, Buy myself 2 more years.
Dude, once the dog is trained in potty training, they really, there's not much to it. Like here, sure, you're going to have to take her out and go for a walk because you don't have a giant backyard or anything. Mm-hmm. But really not that much.
And I like that. I like that it's going to get me out of the house. 2019, I felt like I was indoors too much. And this year, I want to be more active. I want to be more outside.
You're going to go to more lazy dog cafes?
No, man. Last time I went there, dude.
The food's not bad. They're too hipster for me.
I mean, the food was okay. And my stomach was not okay like 24 hours
I think
later.
you're sensitive.
Nah, dude.
You like hate all these places.
Lazy?
Because
Lazy
it makes
dog.
me sick.
Like what?
Like Denny's, Lazy
No,
Dog.
I don't like Denny's, period, just because of the quality of the food.
I
Dude.
love Denny's, dude.
No, man.
Love it, dude. Their French toast is so good. Their
Oh, but you,
pancakes are good.
yeah,
Chicken fried steak. Red skin potatoes are the best.
but you see, you eat that stuff. I don't really like. I would not eat that there. I would go and eat like eggs,
Meatloaf, no
eggs.
doubt.
No, I'd go like and get eggs, toast, and bacon. No coffee. The coffee's not that good. I mean, their quality is.
Well,
If you're hungover, it's okay.
then don't get scrambled because they use fake eggs. If you get real egg, like you get like over easy, over medium, you'll get real eggs.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like
Or you ask for real egg.
I don't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, dude. Do you know IHOP? Their omelets that they put pancake batter in it.
See, that's why I don't eat there.
They put pancake batter in IHOP omelets to make them fluffier.
See,
So,
that's one of the things.
Yeah,
You know.
so their omelets are not like a gluten free option. I learned that because my buddy was gluten free and he asked for it. I was like, what? So yeah, they have to make your omelet differently with real egg.
It's weird.
Yeah, because that's why they advertise fluffiest omelet.
See, that's one of the reasons why I don't like to eat at places like that.
I mean, that's if you think about it, that's in almost any packaged food, anything that's not grown from the ground. Because if you can add something, just like where was it? I think it was Taco Bell. Any meat that they used to use was like 50% meat, 50% oatmeal.
Oatmeal? I thought it was soy.
I'm pretty sure. Well, I think they've done different things over time, but I think a long time ago it was like oatmeal. Because they just infuse the flavor and it has kind of the same consistency because they chop it up anyways.
Yeah.
So
man, that's so crazy how people just get away with that shit.
I mean, because they advertise seasoned meat, so I mean, it's there. There is meat. They don't say it's all meat. I mean, they don't say there's oatmeal in it, but
imagine, dude.
Like that's one of the things too that I actually like moving forward, thinking like I'm gonna have to have meals planned out all the time. Like I'm used to like, hey, what are we gonna do for dinner tonight? Do you need help with cooking? Like, if we're not having something, I'm just gonna make something quick because we always do that. Because normally there's like we have a dinner planned. Now I gotta come up with my own recipes, make sure to cook, which means now I am stocking my own fridge. And so I looked that up. I was like, okay, how do you eat on the cheap but have normal meals? There's a dude out there who did it for $5 a week. It's all like starchy foods, but but no, there's like this bodybuilder did it for $51 a week. It was like chicken, eggs, and oatmeal with some rice and some beans. But like he had seasonings he didn't include in the price, which I mean, once you buy the seasonings, they last you like 6 months. But
$50 a week, that's not bad.
No, it's 200 a month.
That's about average.
That's like going to a restaurant twice, maybe 3 times.
Well, it depends on what kind of restaurant you go
into. And you get super cheap, like maybe 5 times.
Yeah,
which is a day and a half.
Yeah. I'm sorry. You're thinking that you're gonna start like prepping your food.
Dude, I've been putting recipes together. Like, I've actually been cooking. Like the other day, I cooked. I put some, like 3 slices of bacon. I chopped them up, threw in some onions, cooked that. When the onions were kind of caramelized, I threw in some green beans and some northern beans. They're just like white beans, and seasoned those. And just cooked it all up in the bacon grease and with the onions, and just had that. And it was pretty bomb. It's so damn good, dude. The most fiber I've had in a while too. So it reset my insides. But no, it's like little things like that. Like all it was like, it probably was like a $3 meal.
A $3 meal.
and it was a whole pot. Like it was probably a bowl that size worth of green beans and bacon and I mean it was not bad of a meal in a sense.
Yeah, no, I have noticed that if you want to eat real food lately, it's gonna cost you. You know, it's gonna cost you to get some fruit, some veggies, good quality meat. Because I've looked around, man. I've looked at some of the grocery stores. Their meat, it's like declining. Like the quality of meat is declining. It's not. I can't just go anywhere anymore. Like I have to, really look at the meat and see what it is. Like sometimes you'll get a steak. It's like pale. I'm like, dude, I can't eat that steak. I'm not gonna eat that shit.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's coming from.
You know, something that I just thought about right now. It's like, why don't cities take out like plots of land and just grow like some easy like fruits and vegetables and then essentially hand them out to people who live in the city?
Well,
like you can get orange, had a bunch of orange trees. Under the orange trees, you plant like cucumbers.
You know why? Because a lot of the seeds have patents, and you're not allowed to sell them. You can buy them, but you can't resell them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of that stuff. Like
I think
that's another reason why people don't get veggies and fruit as often. Like they'll get them, is because you have to go like every 3 days. So you gotta be at a grocery store every 3 days, which means right after work, and every 3 days you gotta go to the grocery store, which with the traffic, you don't want to spend another 15-20 minutes on top of your 40-minute trip.
Well, you know what, man? Yeah, I think that's part of it, but on the other side, I think it's just laziness, and on another side, it's also just more convenient to get. I mean, dude, right now, we live in a time where we don't even have to go to the grocery store if you don't want to. And you would still get groceries delivered to your house.
Well, that's expensive, too. You gotta have the money for that. I was just thinking about that. If you had a kid and you lived near, like, a grocery store, let's say, like, right here across the street, there's a grocery store. Your kid goes and takes people's order, goes and shops for them, and comes back, they give him, like, $5-10.
Yeah, but then... I mean, what?
Oh, I would so do that if I was a kid. Dude. Just go to my neighbors and be like, give me your shopping list, give me your money, and then I'll go get the food and come back for you.
You know?
Like a kid fruit stand. Like, you don't see the orange. Like, I've seen a couple, like, orange juice stands, but, like, you don't see that stuff anymore. Because people call the police on you.
My therapist was telling me a story about how he got started when he was young, how he got started making some money. And basically, he found himself one day at a convenience store. He was just hanging out. He used to go there, his mom would sometimes give him like a quarter. He'd go over there and get something. But there was one time where he was sitting outside the store, and a young lady came up and asked him if he can go in there to buy maxi pads because she was embarrassed. Like, oh, if you go in there and give me maxi pads, I'll give you a quarter. So he started doing that. So next thing you know, he's got like women, like people all different ages asking him. That was like his little gig.
Okay. So like, what? How did he advertise that? Like, he just stood outside and like, if you don't want to buy this, I'll buy it for you.
No, I mean the girls just knew him now, like around the neighborhood. It was one of those things. So that's kind of like what you're saying, He kind of did that, but with maxi pads. Oh, man. Why are people embarrassed? What's that, what's going on? Like, what's that thought process in their head? That people get embarrassed to buy things.
Like, well, see, like, stuff like that I don't get. Like, a girl buys tampons. I mean, come on. Everyone knows. But, like, if a guy goes in to buy, like butt cream, like, it's kind of embarrassing. I mean, is there something wrong with your butt? Or, like, if I went into, like, Victoria's Secret to buy a bra, it's a little embarrassing because then people think you're gonna be wearing it.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
and then if you stand outside the store, you seem like a creep. Or you're going in there and you're like rifling through all the underwear.
Yeah.
And you're by yourself. Like someone thinks you're a creep. Like, just stuff like that. Or like that one time where we went to a Walmart and you were buying a big ass box of condoms. And it was me, you, and Gabby. And I was just like, oh god.
Yeah, that was weird, huh? We were shopping for a bunch of
We
stuff.
went for one thing and then it was that and those, and I was just like,
Yeah,
I think it was just drinks.
we were getting drinks for a party, I think.
Yeah.
We're getting drinks, and
So
then I was like, well, we're already here.
Some drinks,
So
those, and the three of us were standing there. Dude, that guy for sure, girl, whatever it was like, damn, let's go down tonight.
maybe they wanted to join in. You would have gotten lucky there, man. Dude,
Well,
back
no,
in high school,
like that.
back in high school, we had a friend who had like 4 kids. Remember? I won't say his name, but we had a friend who had 4 kids. This guy,
Pretty sure he's at double that now.
dude, his excuse was, I'm too embarrassed to go buy condoms. So, in high school, he had like 4 kids because he was embarrassed to go get condoms.
I don't even get that. Like, how do you not? Like, I'm freaking out that, like, I can barely afford this or that. And there's just people out there that don't even think about it. Like, don't even, like, they're just like, whatever. Like,
Yeah,
people
but
don't
see,
worry at all.
they're stuck. They're okay with that. They're okay with that.
But, like,
They're stuck.
how do you not have any fear of, like, the repercussion? Like,
Well,
eventually you're on the street and you got nothing, you can't do anything. Like,
but why do you think people are in debt?
I can understand debt though. Like I can understand people whose credit gets upside down, and they can't rent something because of some health issue. It's like either you go into the doctor, you get this done that you can afford so that you live. That's something different. But like to go out and be like, hey, I'm gonna quit my job because I just want to because I don't like the place anymore, and I'm gonna live off my credit card for the next 4 months. Till I find another job. Like, that makes no sense to me. Like, that doesn't make any sense
That does
whatsoever.
not make any sense. But yet, there's still people who do that.
It's just like, how do you not fear the repercussion of it?
Because they think about it. They're like, oh, like, I don't know, man. That's the reason why I want to know. I want to know what's going on in their head. And sometimes also I think about it. There's also nothing wrong with that. You can literally live whatever way you want. And I've gotten to that point lately, man. There's some people that I mean I told you that the last podcast. Like some people are just existing. They're just there. They're not even. Like, I don't really see any depth to people. It's rare. The person that you engage with, and then they actually have some substance to them. It's really rare.
Mm-hmm. Even people, like, there's a lot of people where, like, I don't understand why they haven't been able to do more. Like, there's a bartender where I work who's really good, who knows how to make all the drinks, and I'm just curious, like, why are you still here? Like, why haven't you moved to another place where you pretty much make more money and it'd be a little bit more secure? Like, there's days where it's just like, eh. And then there's days where are just normally good. But it's like, what if you could go to a place where it's every day is normally good, where like every other day may be really good? Like, I don't get, like, a lot of those people do get stuck. Like, there are some really intelligent and really good workers out there that just stay in the same spot.
Well,
Like, I think that's where I'm at. Like, I can work really hard. When I learn how to do something, I'll do it. But, like, it's almost as if, like, people aren't giving chances to the ones who actually should, like could improve your businesses almost. Like I was talking to the barber today. You probably can't even tell I got a haircut, huh?
well, I mean, your hair looks good. I don't know when was the last time you got it though.
But we were sitting there and they were talking. I was saying, like, why they were talking about all the luxury apartments being built in the area and, like, where are people going to park and stuff like that. And then it turned into, like, I said, yeah, I don't understand why they're building so many luxury apartments. I don't understand how there's enough people to fill luxury apartments. Like, there's not that many people making enough money for those kind of places. And one of the guys like, do people make more money than you think they do? And I was like, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there making good money, but there's also a lot of people out there not making good money. So if you're replacing these, like, let's say on a plot of land where you're building these luxury apartments, you'd probably be able to fit like 8 homes at the most, which are probably 8 incomes, which equal to 8 people working. Where these luxury apartments are probably twice the amount. You probably have like
I've seen some that are like 200
and you probably have 2 renters in each one, maybe one. So you're getting 16 people working. So you're getting twice the amount of people who are out there working in these luxury apartments, which means there needs to be that many jobs. And so we started talking about, like, there's just some stupid people out there who, like, they can just, like, they post things on Instagram and they get paid $120,000 a year. And it's like, why don't they take these people who, like, are actually good at these kind of things, who do it, like, on their own, and get those people in those positions? Like, you find a lot of stupid people in, like, these positions that pay so well. And just, like, how does someone have a job? Like, you go drive down the street and you just see these people who, like, don't take care of themselves, don't take care of their house. It's like, how did you get a house? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
like,
but expand on that.
You barely walk around. Like,
yeah.
Like, both of you are handicapped. Both of you, like, don't work. Like, how do you have this house? Like,
yeah.
There's so much of that. I just, like, that baffles me. And it's like, there's a lot of people out there that seem so experienced in many things, but there's no place for them to plug that in to a profit.
Well, I think that self-corrects over time. I think that that people eventually get booted out. You know, how do people get into those positions?
She's running in her sleep.
You know, she's running. Sometimes she's probably running from the ice. She's running from ice. She's from TJ. Oh yeah. Sometimes people inherit. Inheritance is one. And then, you know, sometimes people actually did work really hard. At one point, they were those types of people, and over time, they just became, you know, their work ethic degraded. They became comfortable, and which is the word I wanted to use earlier when you were asking, how is this bartender still working here? It's comfort. Are you comfortable?
I mean, not yet, but
no.
I'm sure
are you comfortable? You know what I mean.
Sure,
you know what I mean by that. You're comfortable, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're comfortable that you're gonna have a job tomorrow. Mm-hmm. You're comfortable, right? See, so am I. I'm comfortable, but I also know that this comfort, because I didn't have this growing up. This comfort, I also know that this comfort is also limited. So that's what's driving me now to become better, so that I can make more money, so that I can be comfortable again. I'm comfortable now, but, you know, as time goes on, you have a place like this, you have a 2-bedroom apartment, we have the luxury to have our this podcast at this house. Now I have a dog. We have bills to pay. We have a bunch of things that we have to pay. Yet I'm comfortable, right? In order for me to continue this lifestyle as Orange County gets more expensive, I need to up my game. I need to up my income. I need to find new ways to you know to generate money, revenue. Like, what do I have to do? So that's where I'm at now. So I'm uncomfortable now because I have to do those things in order to win back comfort. But that's just the nature of the game. And there's some people who they just literally and they're at a job for years, 20, 30 years. They're planning on retiring there. And they're comfortable. They're living the same lifestyle. They have 10 kids. They have dogs, they have car payments, they have rent. And then next thing something happens. They get fired. They get let go. Maybe they injured themselves. Then the kids have to come in and fill in that gap, and fill and get that money that is now gone back. And so it creates this cycle of people who, they take one step forward and two steps back. And a lot of it has to do with planning. A lot of it has to do with, planning for your future, but also learning how to manage your expenses, how to. I mean, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of variables, a lot of things that go into that, right?
Mm-hmm. I always love that when the dogs run in their sleep.
She's dreaming. Yeah. So I vowed, to myself and my family that I'm not going to be that person. And so, just that alone brings on a giant responsibility. Right? It brings on a giant responsibility that when you vow to yourself that you're not going to be taking from your family and you're going to try to contribute to your family, that in itself is a giant responsibility. And so how do you manage something like that? Sometimes people can't handle that and they freak out, as I did. I freaked out. And I think that's where my whole issue was coming from seeing where I'm at, seeing how old I am, and realizing that tomorrow is not free anymore. I think that's exactly what my biggest realization was in 2019. Tomorrow is not free. It has to be paid for. How are you going to pay for it? Oh, you want kids? You want a house? Well, guess what? It's going to cost money. How are you going to get that? Because where you are, you're living, you have comfort. Mm-hmm. But if you want those things, you have to be at another level. And so now I have to figure out, what it is that I'm going to have to do for this year. And so, I'm trying, I don't know, like, what's your...
See, that's the one thing when, this whole year, I didn't think anything about any holiday. Like, I was never like, oh, Easter's tomorrow. Like, sure, I understood, like, Christmas is tomorrow. Like, we're going to do presents, that kind of stuff. But, like, even when the day came, I didn't get that feeling that the day was any different. Like I used to when I was a kid. Where it was like, I'd have that feeling Christmas Day, like, waking up, and I was, like, not even necessarily, like, excited for the presents. Just, like, the day felt different altogether.
It had something, right? Yeah. It had some kind of flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel that way. And even when New Year's came, the day I woke up, I was like, okay, I'm going to go do this. 1 minute for the ball drop, we're all in a room, everyone's taking video, they're like, yeah, Happy New Year, everyone's, like, giving each other hugs, and I was just like, that's it. Like, after this, like, everyone's going to go to work tomorrow, and it's going to be the same thing.
Yeah.
And, like, how you just said it right now, you're like, yeah, what are you going to do for this year? Like, why is it just this year? The other year, you're going to give up on what you were doing? Like,
no, but
that's how we think of things. Like, we give ourselves a certain amount of time to get something done. If it's not done in that time, then you failed.
Well,
Like,
I think it's
like yeah,
important to have realistic goals. Like you can't. You, like right now. Like now that you just said that, it's not like, oh yeah, this year I'm gonna get a house and I'm gonna make six figures and then I'm gonna get married. Like what I'm trying to what I mean by what are you gonna do this year is what goals are you gonna be able to attain, because you can't attain all of them. You know, we have to take it step by step, but you have to start somewhere. So
hmm.
that's why I was directing my question that way. So maybe now that it's more clear, you can answer that.
You'll see. Like, I don't know. I never thought about it, so I don't really have an answer to
So I
that.
mean, it could be like
I mean, it's really
spend more quality time with your son.
no.
You
It's more or
know,
less just learning to be on my own, I guess.
you
Like
have to
I've
spread your
always been
wings,
used
Craig.
to like like the concept. If we just sat here, like it's gonna be like that. It's gonna be quiet. There's gonna be a lot of things will change because of that. Like you're used to someone being in the house to where like okay they're gonna be home at this time. I have this amount of time to do whatever. Like now it's like I'll be at work and when I'm normally like ready to go home because I'm like okay I'm gonna go sit down. I'll talk to someone and then I'm gonna go to bed. Your your thought will be oh there's no one home. There's people here. I'll just hang out for a little bit. Like a lot of those minuscule things will be change. It will change that I think will be good for me in the sense because now I'm going to seek out more. What's the word? I guess companionship from others in a sense. Have more want to go out and do things.
Hmm.
Um, so with that, I think it's more or less just learning the learning how to live differently in that sense. Not because like the only reason that I talk to most of my family is because my parents are still here. When they're gone, I won't have them who I normally speak to. I won't. My brothers won't come around. We
They're
probably won't
like
talk
they're
much.
they're like the
So
conduit, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So like that right there is like the main daily people I talk to, and then we usually we'll talk on the phone or we'll do something once a week. We'll do this, but then outside of that, it was mainly them who I would talk to. So if they're gonna be gone, now it's going to be me. I'm gonna have no normal interaction on a daily basis. Like I'll wake up in the morning. If I have my son, we'll hang out. If I don't have him, then what? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's gonna be
Yeah.
a change in my mindset, a change in how I act on a daily basis.
Yeah, man.
Even though I'm more of an introvert and I get on my computer, but like when you get that feeling of bored or you want interaction with someone, it's just the easy step out your door and go talk to someone. And
Yeah.
then you get that fixed and you come back and you do your thing. But when you're in a room by yourself and it's quiet and nothing's going on, it's you start feeling that like I need to get out, I need to go do something.
Yeah.
So and the other thing, starting to work now and I see my financials, I had that feeling like I don't know why. I was like, I got money now. Let's go get something. And I was like, shit, like why do I need to go get anything?
So
Because
we
you
talked
real
we talked about that a few podcasts ago. It's all about the conditioning. It's
yeah.
about the habits that you had when uh, you get the check. It means that you
Realizing
have,
what you've slacked on. Like,
yeah,
let's say your cup that you've used every day has been cracked, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go get me a new cup now. Like,
yeah,
why? It was working for you. If you didn't have that
hmm
money,
hmm
you wouldn't have gone and get a cup anyways.
right,
So it's like
yeah, man.
being grateful what you
I really
have.
changed that last year. I was like, I mean, I've never really bought a lot of clothes, um, but I always like if new occasion comes around, like maybe a birthday or a Christmas or something. I would be like, you know what, I'm gonna go grab a new jacket or something. Last year, that's something that I'm really proud of. I don't think I bought much clothes out of work clothes. Like I bought some shirts and the suit for the wedding. Outside of that, I've been wearing the same shit for like 3 years.
Like that's one thing that I want to do this year. I did like the financials on the lower end and the higher end of what I would make, and I base it off of the lower end. And I did it for the whole year. I did it after taxes, and I was like, I would need this much on food, this much on gas, and this much on rent. And then I looked at how much I had left, and I should be able to double my savings. So that's something that I thought about. At the end of the year, I want to be able to double my savings. And I mean, at a certain point, I'm not going to be able to consistently double my savings because it's going to be too much at a certain point. But
Yeah.
realistically, this year I could double my savings, and that's something that I want to do. And I've always been good at that, at money management. And I actually thought about it. It's like if I didn't stop working to try these classes out, I would have had so much damn money right now.
Yeah, man, but it's
And
not
then-
gonna change anything. See,
No, I know,
See-
but it would
see-
have put you. You would be in a comfortable position. Is the point?
right?
Like I'm
But
not
then-
like, oh, I'm a baller now. I got all this money in my bank and can go do whatever I want. That's not the point. The point is having that when something goes bad.
yeah. See, I get
That's
that.
my point. Like I've never
I
been
get
an
that.
extravagant person. Like I used to go out and go eat, and I would leave a big tip. Sure, I probably shouldn't have done that, but I wasn't the person who goes out and goes and buys a super nice car.
Yeah.
Like when I went out for a car, I wasn't looking at cars that I wanted. I was looking at cars that made sense. Like I've always had that in my head. Like it's always about that. Like I would get the cheap stuff, but like there are certain things I would spend money on. Like there's two things in my head right now that I'm willing to spend money on, and it's shoes and a jacket. Outside of that, clothes they fade so quickly. Like sure, you need a reliable car. I have one right now, so I don't have to worry about that. I mean, eventually I will, and I'll turn that around. But like, I'm not gonna go get a luxury apartment, spend $200 more just because there's paint on the walls and it's a brand new apartment. Like, I don't care. Like,
So on the flip side of that, see, you said that you would be comfortable. Do you think that you would pursue anything other than that, or do you think that you would be complacent with what you had? Because see, that's the danger about well, see, when
because like how I said with the cup thing, is that complacent because you have the crack in it and you don't want to spend the money to get a new one, or is it just like you don't need a new one?
no, of course.
Oh, I'm done. I thought there was one more.
But what I mean is outside of that. I mean, it's actually within you. If you're comfortable, and you're living a good life, whatever. Would you be happy with just that, just being comfortable, like your life? Or would you want something more, like,
But see when you go to your house, I mean, if you think about it, and everything you remember is more or less times you're doing things. Like, do you remember living in that back house with the sliding door in that one room?
yeah,
You remember like the day to day, like like all that.
yeah, I remember because it was annoying.
Like I remember living in the apartment where every morning we would wake up and there'd be ants everywhere. But like I don't remember like that feeling of like ants, god damn it. Like I don't remember any of that. Like that stuff is just that's in the past. Like everything you remember, good and bad, are all situations that happen with others. Everything you remember for the most part, all the happiness and sadness is the experiences you have with others. These little things with like your home, like, oh, remember that time where we painted the wall and you got mad because I was joking and put a slice of green right down here? Like you don't remember that. You laugh at it.
Mm-hmm.
Like remember that time where this guy got mad and socked you in the face and you guys are and then you got in a huge fight? You probably laugh about it. Like you don't remember like
So okay,
like
yeah, but what I
that's what I mean. Like comfort is kind of all you need in a
But
home.
yeah, but what I mean is, a comfort of is also a way of life, and that's what I'm referring to. Like, do you just want to be comfortable? You wake up, you do what you have to do. You go to bed. The next day you wake up, you do what you have to do. You go to bed, and that being your life, would that bring you happiness and enjoyment to your life? Is that what you want to do with your life? That's what I'm referring to.
I mean, there, like you're saying, you want to have enjoyment in in most moments of your life. So if you go to work, you want to have at least enjoy some of it. And when you get off work, you want to be awake enough to enjoy your life
Or
outside of
yeah,
it. Like,
or would you want to have, uh, like, okay, this is the way I picture my future. Okay, I picture my future. Um, it's me, my wife, hopefully this dog still there, maybe some kids. Maybe we're talking about maybe like 10 years down the line when I'm 40. And I'm picturing myself with work. I don't have work. Like, yeah, it's work, but it's not. I don't consider it a job. Okay, our lifestyle is being paid for by what I'm doing now. You don't really have to do much, and then it gives you a lot of creative freedom. And then whatever I like to do at that point in time, I'll just do that, and hopefully I find a way to monetize it by being creative, something that I enjoy to do, but I don't have to rely on it for to put food on the table. That's what I'm aiming for. But in order to get there, I can't come home, go to a job, sleep, and then wake up, go to a job, sleep. I can't do that. I have to work my ass off now so that in 10 years I have the capacity and the capability to have that creative freedom that I seek. You know?
mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm referring to. Like, for the next 10 years, are you going to live comfortable? And then when you're 40, you realize, you're like, whoa, I'm 40. Well, I'm 40, whatever. Then you're 50, then you're 60, and you're living the same life. And then eventually you're at your deathbed and you're like, well, my life was comfortable. Is that what you want to do? And in fact, this question's for everyone that's listening. Is that what you want to do? Do you just want to be comfortable until the day you die?
Yeah. I think that everyone at the end wants something to be different. Because it's the same thing as looking at other people and be like, oh, I want that. It's like maybe it's the only time they get whatever that thing is. So, I don't know.
Well, how about, you guys take that question and maybe answer it on the comments in the section below. Subscribe. We're going to end that here. Let me just read this, Heart of Buddha. A little excerpt from Heart of Buddha.
Mark of the Buddhist monk here.
Well, I just feel like this kind of, it helps you make sense of the world, Mm-hmm. When people say, and I'm guilty of this, man. I used to say all the time, there's no book for life. That's true. There's many books for life. So just pick up and read one, damn it. Okay, here we go. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. So I've been reading a book called Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It's exactly what this quote is talking about. I suggest you guys read it. Maybe let us know what you think. And perhaps I'll have the All-Stars come back up and we can do something. We can do a podcast based on the book. But yeah, what do you understand what the quote means? No? So I'll read it again, Greg.
Nope.
Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. concentrate the mind on the present moment. So what it's talking about is being mindful. See, many people are stuck. Many people are stuck thinking about their past, and they can never get over their past. And it brings all the baggage with them to the present moment. And sometimes people think about the future too much without thinking about the present. So you're always thinking and worrying, and your mind's never here. And so basically, we have to detach ourselves from time. And because the only time that we have is now. Because you don't have yesterday and you don't have tomorrow. So what's the point about, thinking about them or living in the past or the future? All the time you have is this moment.
We can go and argue about this.
Well,
if you don't think about tomorrow.
No, I'm not saying I'm not saying don't plan. But you don't plan tomorrow. You plan today.
Yeah.
You plan now. But with that being said, I hope everyone has a good week. We'll see you guys next week.